Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.
Are you ready to trick your two best friends into seeing each other at a play? So are we. Welcome back to Shit 90 Shows Taught Me. I'm Jess Sterling here with my co-host, Sarah Humphrey. Sarah, how are you?
Jess, I'm doing really well. I'm ready for my Parent Trap shenanigans. Yeah. What's the closest you've ever been to pulling a Parent Trap?
Ooh, interesting. I don't know that I've ever set up anybody or anything like that. You feel like a meddling person, so you feel like you would do that.
It's No Meddle May, so
correct. It is officially No Meddle May.
Another No Meddle May for the books. Yeah, I would. Not my yeah. I mean, I don't have a dad right now, so not my.
Maybe later, but not right
I don't know. I mean, like that's probably against my mom's lesbianism. So
yeah.
But I would. You wouldn't put it past me.
Oh, you definitely would if given the opportunity. I think you would not just jump at the opportunity. You would seize that opportunity with both hands, with a vice grip.
I'm pretty sure in the Jewish lore, if you set up like 3,
you go to heaven.
You go to heaven.
Yeah, that's a thing. I've heard of that.
Jews don't believe in hell, so I don't know. I guess you just stay in limbo if like you don't accomplish this goal. I'm not quite sure.
Man, it must be nice to be a part of a religion that like doesn't believe in hell.
Yeah,
it's just like because. I grew up Catholic. I'm not anymore. I would not consider myself Catholic. But like you're always going to hell. Like you can't do anything right. You're literally always going to hell.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll be clear. Like I barely paid attention when I went to Hebrew school. So like that could be totally wrong. I'm not quite sure. But
listen, I'm taking your word for it.
Yeah, it's the narrative that I've been going with for the last like 30 years. So.
I don't think you should look it up to see if it's wrong because it sounds way more healthy than the alternative.
Yeah, I was just about to do so. So
I don't think you should.
I'm also like I'm not really Jewish either. So whatever.
It's tough. But we're not here to talk about religion or cultures or anything like that. We're here to talk about Felicity season 4, episode 9. Moving on. Truly, this episode should have been more exciting than it ended up being. Like the concept, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, Parent Trap, Javier's involved. He's setting up Ben and Felicity. Like all of this should lead to good, juicy drama, good, juicy gossip. It wasn't.
You were bored. You said that this episode could have been an email. Is essentially what.
Yeah. I literally said it's probably not great that I only watched half of this episode before bed and decided I was bored enough to just go to bed instead of finish it. And then I eventually had to watch, the second half of the episode. Barely got through it. I went to rewatch it this morning to take my usual little notes that I do, and I fell asleep. I was kind of tired anyway, but I fell asleep like halfway through. It just. Again, on paper, it should be exciting, but this song and dance, Sarah, is getting just so old. Like being Team Ben when he's like, no, I'm going to have boundaries. Like, I'm not going to fuck around with Felicity anymore. I'm done. I'm like, yes, Ben, we love boundaries. But then this wishy-washy fuck.
Yeah, he walks it back real quick.
Sarah, back in the day, I was like, Noel is wishy-washy. I can't stand a wishy-washy person. I like a decisive person who like makes a decision and sticks to it. Ben has joined Team Wishy-washy in a way that is like very, very annoying to me.
Yeah, you don't like it. Yeah, I really don't like it either because I constantly am. I agree with you. Like I'm hyping Ben up. I'm like, that's great. He wants to give himself space. He is realizing that he has boundaries, like is the perfect word. And then he just is constantly walking it back or calling her, leaving messages. Or like he's like going out trying to find somebody else to be with, just cash. And then he's like, you know what? I just miss Felicity. It's pretty bonkers actually, because I don't know. The pussy must be that good. I'm not quite sure.
It's just confusing. Like, I just don't understand what the fuck Ben is up to. He comes into Dean and DeLuca after we ended last week's episode with him being like, I love you. I need space. I'll call you. Very mixed messages, very confusing. He goes into Dean and DeLuca. He's like, sorry, I'm late and sorry I didn't call. And it's okay, how far are we going? But then it's like, oh my God, in the span of like literally 10 minutes, he's even more wishy-washy because Felicity's like, we have so many leftovers from Thanksgiving. Like, you should come over and eat some. He says yes. She's all smiles, all happy. She leaves the room. He follows her and is like, actually, never mind.
He's like, what? You know what he was? He was like, you know what? Leftovers do sound good. I really like the idea of that Thanksgiving sandwich. And like, I've never done it. Yeah, I've never done it before. And me, myself, Sarah, have never done it before.
It's very good.
Yeah. And he's like, that sounds really good. Like, this is my opportunity to do it. And then he's like, wait a minute. You are counting your calories. You don't want to be like full glutton during the holidays. Never mind. I don't want to do it. But I don't really think that's it.
I think the reason maybe Ben decided he was like originally said yes to this plan was his apartment is so toxic right now. I don't think he wants to spend any time there anyway.
That's fair. And then like, he was like, yes. And then he's like, no, because it's not good for me. Also, this like customer service issue that they came up with.
What the fuck is this?
Well, I think Felicity and Ben are so in the wrong. It doesn't matter
exactly
if you really did use 2% milk. If the customer thinks that like has a thought, even if it's wrong, you just
remake it. This is okay. I am so with you. I could not be more with you because
go into the fridge, take out, even if it's like in a different canister, you take out the 2% carton and say, I'm putting in here, I'm so sorry. And you give the $4 back. You just do it.
It's so easy to fix this problem because you're so right, Sarah. Like literally it's coffee. Like this man literally ordered like a coffee with 2% milk. This isn't a feast. This isn't escargot or a steak. It takes you zero time to remake this man's coffee. Instead, you're like, because again, if I'm Felicity, I don't even say, oh no, I definitely use 2%. I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry about that. Let me just remake that for you. Why are you bothering to argue with this man? And if I am the actual manager, and I come in and I found out that Ben has been like, I'm the manager, take your $4 and leave. I'm like, you just sent a customer away. What are you doing?
Oh, for what? Right? Because
he's standing up for Felicity because this guy had the audacity to question her. Because I don't know, Sarah, in my mind, if someone is like, no, you put this in it, I'm like, I don't trust my brain. I don't trust my memory. So I'm going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I will, even if you're wrong. Just remake the coffee.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. You just remake it. It's like it was.
And then you get a free coffee if you drink whole milk.
Right. Yeah.
Well, no, the guy drank out of it. Never mind. Throw it away. But
right.
I forgot he drank out of it.
It was pretty bonkers because it was like, why are you like yelling at this customer? He's just a customer. That's like the whole point.
Yeah. And maybe this is okay, because I did work at a Starbucks once upon a time. There were times where we were slammed. Like this happens, right? With coffee shops, especially at like specific times of the day. It didn't look super busy there. I can understand getting frustrated with a customer, right? Like I get it. I totally do. But also you're making your life more difficult by being like snotty towards him. It's much easier to do the path of least resistance and be like, I'll remake that for you.
Yeah. Like honestly, at Starbucks, you can just say like, oh, this is like a smidge too cold. And they'll be like, let me remake it for you.
Yeah. Oh, I ordered a dry cappuccino, not a wet cappuccino. And this is way too wet. It's like, okay.
Dry versus wet?
It's like the amount of foam on it is dry versus wet. Yeah.
Okay. I see.
This is what I hated about Starbucks is like as a person, I've talked about this, I feel like as a person who gets anxiety when going through a drive-through because I'm like, I need to get this exactly right. and there's a lot of pressure. There's no pressure, but in my head, there's like so much pressure.
Mhm.
I really hate how Starbucks has like, you're supposed to say things in a very specific order because I get very nervous that I'm not going to get the order right. You know, like you're supposed to say grande and like the size, and then you're supposed to say something else. And then it's like, you know what I mean? There's like an order to
Yeah,
how
I'm
you say
sure
it.
customers don't do that because they're just
They
like,
probably don't.
they don't know.
But in my head,
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to get this right. This is why the invention of being able to order on your mobile app and just pick up at the drive-through is genius.
Maybe Starbucks is not the career for you.
No, I really hated working at Starbucks, and it wasn't probably for the reason you're thinking. It was more so because it was a Starbucks in a rest area, and
Mhm.
so not a lot of times we would get buses of people, and they'd all come in line at
Oh,
once, and
no.
especially if it was like a high school sports team, and they'd all come in and order frappuccinos, which everyone who's ever worked at a Starbucks knows they're the most annoying to make.
Mhm. You don't like
So
a blender.
no, they're really, you have to clean it every single time in between all the drinks. They take the longest to make. They're very annoying.
Yeah.
But he does say, he's like, I see the fat globules in there. It's like, no, you
Fat
don't.
fat he tasted the fat he saw them.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, you don't, why are there fat globules in fucking whole milk?
I don't know, but honestly, whole milk is so creepy. I dread the day that if I do have a child, that I have to buy whole milk because I think whole milk is the creepiest milk.
Do children drink whole milk?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, children love whole milk because like once you transition them out of like
Formula
formula
stuff?
or
Yeah.
breast milk, then like typically they go to whole milk. And
Okay.
milk's so creepy. I don't know.
Milk is a weird thing. Like you're literally drinking stuff that came out of an animal's boob. It's
Yeah,
weird.
sure.
Who
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna squish, 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 squirt in my mouth? Who said that the first time?
I don't
Anyway,
know. I don't know.
let's move on from the milk conversation because now I'm getting creeped out about it.
Yeah.
So Ben is like, we need to move on. And Felicity is devastated by this news. And she doesn't want to move on, but wants to respect his wishes.
Am
So
I
she's gonna move on.
crazy or like I thought that Ben already broke up with Felicity like 9 times.
No one knows, Sarah, because we're 9 episodes in, and I feel like they've gotten together and broken up 6 times in 9
Yeah.
episodes. What
Yeah.
are we doing?
Yeah, I think like at this point, it should not be a surprise that you got broken up with in this situation. Like you
Mhm.
should already be preparing your heart for this to happen because I already thought it happened. So Felicity being like all sad and down and out about being broken up with, and then Javier and Elena having to spend the rest of the episode coddling her, and Megan as well, because like everybody's very like anti Ben, and it's just like, why are you
Felicity is the one who
anti-Ben?
cheated.
Like even
Yeah.
if like it's your best friend and you know you're wanting to hype them up, like if my best friend did that, I would be like, yeah, that fucking sucks. The whole situation sucks, and obviously you didn't mean to hurt him, but you kind of did it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, like
Yeah.
I love you, but this is like the consequences of your actions. Like I don't know why we're like,
Yeah.
Ben's a fucking douchebag fucker.
Well, I will say Ben is a douchebag fucker because of the amount of like mind games he's playing this episode. Like
Yeah.
that I would condemn him for. The actual breakup itself tracks, so I don't think you can be that upset with him. It's like the way he's handling it is not great because Felicity is like, I'm gonna go paint my feelings away.
Mhm.
This is where we meet Owen, which
Oh, yeah.
Sarah, did you recognize Owen at all?
No, of course
I don't know that you
not.
would. Because did you watch this year, 2025, the show The Pit was on? And I feel like everyone loved The Pit.
Okay, like what? Okay, I have a question about the Pit
Yes.
in general. No, I have not watched the Pit yet. Of course, I haven't watched the Pit because, like,
Mhm.
there's not a time where I'm usually up with the trends. Like, I really
Yeah,
not.
and I don't even know, like, because I'm trying to think. Have you ever watched like medical shows, like Grey's
Scrubs.
Anatomy, like any? Okay, Scrubs. Scrubs, I feel like is like a very different vibe than most medical
Okay, so
shows.
this is the thing. Like, everyone's like, watch the Pit, love the Pit, like, pray to the Pit. You know, Pit is God. All this shit. Is there a realm, like, you know me pretty well, like, you know what I like. Like, is there a realm in this universe that I would like the Pit?
I don't think so. I just don't think it's a show for you. Like, I think it's very stressful at times.
I hate that. I don't like
Yeah.
stress. Yeah.
I just don't think it's for you. But on the show The Pit, which blew up this year, everyone loved it. I loved it. Noel Wiley, excuse me, hello, he's beautiful. I love him.
You preach The Pit.
I do pray to The Pit.
Yeah.
There was an actor on the show who, and he wasn't on it a ton, but he played Dr. Abbott, and he is like, you know, of a certain
Dr. Abbott. Now you're
not
pulling
the
my
Abbott you're
leg.
thinking of.
You're pulling my leg now.
Yeah, not the Dr. Abbott from Everwood.
Okay, go on.
There is like, he's like 50-ish years old. And apparently it's Owen. And the thing is, like, this man, I first of all, credit to Emily, because I never would have recognized him. I feel like you can kind of see it in his face. I'm pulling up a photo so you can.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was about to look at my phone.
You can kind of see it in his face. But so this is him.
Oh, he looks hardened by the pressure and pain of life.
Exactly. In a good way, I think. I think he looks 20 times better than he does in Felicity in this show.
Are you crazy? Where's pull up Owen now, or I can look at it.
Owen, Felicity.
No, that man looks like no, that's not him.
That's him, but it's not when he was. Here we go. This is him from when he was on Felicity.
He kind of has like Chris Pratt upside. Like
there we go.
Chris Pratt was a chubbo.
I could kind of see the Chris Pratt comparison.
Yeah.
But I just think this verse, if you're watching us on YouTube, I have some.
You think that he looks better there? I think that he's the ugliest
I definitely think he looks better.
Really? I think that's the ugliest man that I've ever seen.
Well,
Show
everyone
me someone hot. Show me the Pratt. I mean the Pit.
The Pit? What?
Yeah.
Show you
Show
who?
me Pitt. The Pit. Mr. Pitt. Dr. Pitt.
It's called The Pit because it's in Pittsburgh.
Oh.
Noel Wiley is the one that I love. The Pit. His name is Dr. Robbie. Hello, Dr. Robbie.
Yeah, he's pretty hot.
Excuse me.
Sure. He looks old too. He looks hardened by the burden of.
They are all old. He was originally on ER back in the day.
Oh, really?
As a baby, as a little sweet baby. Yeah.
Wait, as a literal baby?
No, as like a 20-something-year-old.
No.
He was a doctor.
I don't know. Maybe he was a baby actor. I don't know.
Anyway, so shout out to Emily for pointing that out. So yeah, Felicity goes to paint her troubles away. And Elena comes in, and I love Elena. Okay, I love her so much. I feel like this is such a bad move to be like, hey, I know you just got out of a devastating breakup. Why don't you date this painter guy over here?
I mean, sure. The thing is that it's such a trope, but the best way to get over somebody is to get under
someone else.
And
isn't that on Sex and the City? Isn't that what that's from?
I don't know where it's from. I don't know, but it's sadly very true. Mm-hmm. So I do agree with the concept. Now, Elena always takes it too far, like always. And she is like, hey, Owen, are you single? Hey, Owen, do you want to go out with my friend Felicity? Hey, Owen, like, tell me about like
your girlfriend.
But tax bracket are you in? Hey, Owen,
Or do you also paint dark and moody things like Felicity does? It looks like an oil spill.
Yeah. And like, this is also very college because like, I definitely like love to fuck around with like randos and like embarrass my friends and vice versa. So I could totally see this this happening and this being a thing that these two people were doing. And Felicity's so embarrassed, but it does open up the opportunity for him to ask her if she's available, if she's interested. And at first Felicity says no, but then when Felicity sees Ben with
Lauren,
maybe she's like, yes, I will go out with you. And like, she had a great time. Like, she kind of like Elena and her boyfriend, but non-boyfriend, like, he made her laugh. They had a good time. But then he wanted a little kissy kiss, and she wasn't ready for the little kissy kiss.
Yeah, and I feel like he handled it really well. Like, he was so kind about it. He was like, listen, it's fine. Like, don't worry about it. Like, he just seemed like a really kind person. So it kind of stinks. And this is life with relationships where sometimes you can meet the right person at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And like this is certainly the wrong time for Felicity. She's just getting out of a breakup, or she's just getting out of a relationship, and she's it's not like she fell out of love with Ben, you know, like she does love
Right.
him. So and then of course, she gets back from the freaking date and Ben has called her. And it's just like a nightmare. And with the other thing we haven't even talked about yet, sorry, I'm going out of order. Javier. I want to touch on Javier because he's currently living with Felicity on the couch.
Do you recall what the latest fight with Javier and Samuel was? Was it?
Yes, it was. He didn't care that mommy didn't feel well. And so Javier was like, I'm out of here. This man, we fight so much and he doesn't even care about my cat. So I'm out.
You know what? It's a valid reason.
I agree. Although we've said this before, we didn't see the conversation, and sometimes Javier blows things a little bit out of proportion.
That is true.
So we don't know. We don't know what Samuel's reaction was. It could have been like, "Oh no, like maybe we'll bring her to the vet later this week if she's not feeling well," and Javier could be like, "That's not enough." Like we don't know. We don't know.
We don't know. But also, how much do you think Javier actually cares about mommy if he has literal slippers that look just like mommy?
It's not a good thing.
Not a good thing. Do you even know what I'm talking about?
No, but like
he had
wouldn't that be a good thing? Or you're saying it looked like he skinned a cat and put them on his feet?
That's
see, I thought he was like, oh my God, these look just like mommy. I should wear them.
He probably said that. He probably said that. Sounds like
he loves mommy.
I love mommy. Yeah. So he is living on the couch and then he is very bothered because he loves Benjamin and he loves Felicity and he thinks that they belong together. And he's very, very, very team Ben. That is firm.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, I'm going to parent trap them. I'm going to invite them both to a play, force them to go with me. And then they're really going with one another.
Yes. But this was not the best laid plan because Benjamin, he invited Lauren and Felicity was thinking that she was just going to hang out with Javier. And it was a really, really, really awkward situation that Javier put them in. Felicity, I think, did the right thing, was like, you guys go, you'll have a great time. I heard it was a great play. And, excused herself. I think that Felicity made the right move. I think
I do too.
I think they all did the best in that situation. That was like really, really awkward.
It was so awkward.
Yeah. And I do think that it was fair for Felicity to go back home and yell at Javier about he was very in the meddling stage.
Because the thing is, because parent trapping can be good, but you have to do it the right way. Like literally they just broke up. This is not the time. And you don't know about Lauren. He has no idea that Ben and Lauren are like now maybe seeing each other. And on top of that, if I'm Felicity and I'm going to dress a little differently if I'm like, oh, I'm just going to see something with Javier, or I'm going to see my ex-boyfriend and I want to like look good and I want to like present that I'm doing well. I just feel like there are a little different situations, and Felicity handles it about as well as she can. But then Ben is really playing mind games this episode because like it is turbulent. We're roller coastering all over the place because he starts out with saying, we need space, Felicity. As soon as he says we need space, Felicity, he then asks out Lauren because she's now staying in the city for a few months, apparently. And so she says yes after she asks how old he is, which is the question on my mind because I'm like, I don't understand this relationship, Sarah. I don't see any chemistry between these two people. And like, it just seems like a bad idea, especially when later in the episode, she calls him and is like, hey, Ben, son of my AA sponsor, I'm on the brink of getting a drink because I'm so stressed about my ex-boyfriend who's calling me.
Drink. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like not good, especially when Sarah, we are 9 episodes into this season. And I'm wondering, are we ever going to get a conversation where Ben says, I think I may have a drinking problem? And maybe not, but we've seen so many moments where he's had like really bad experiences with alcohol.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like it depends on like if he winds up going on some sort of bender. Honestly, I'm not Oh, very cute. Yeah. I'm not quite sure. I think like if I think that I can see it going two ways. I think that the show might feel like they don't have enough time to play out that storyline, or they could do it because they've been, hinting towards it, and then they're
Yeah.
not giving themselves enough time to resolve it, and it's going to be like a 3-episode arc thing, and it's going to be kind of annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the thing is, though, Sarah, like there are certain storylines where they've been like, hey, remember that Elena professor storyline from seasons ago? Let's bring that back. Like,
Yeah.
this is actually something that wouldn't come out of nowhere because, in my opinion, they've been setting it up for literal seasons.
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, but we knew from almost minute one that Ben's dad was an alcoholic. So if we look at that as like a pattern or like a possible genetic thing that could be passed down to him, I feel like they've had plenty of setup for it. And this is the exact sort of thing we were saying, Sarah, which was we didn't really want for Ben. Was we feel like he already has a little bit of like a bad relationship with alcohol. I don't think it's great for then him to date someone who like has a bad relationship with alcohol.
I
At least
so.
not before. If they're both in recovery, I feel like that's different. But like he hasn't necessarily even admitted that he has a problem with it. So it just feels bad. I don't know. Especially when he's dealing with his dad too. Like his dad's still not out of the hospital.
That's true. Yeah, I suppose so. Like I kind of felt like Molly was a better tool to
I forgot Molly existed.
never forget. I thought that Molly was a better tool to show that, like, because like I felt like Molly was like that type of personality. And I don't know Lauren, but she's one of those people that is like seems like she's more put together and past it, that phase in her life. But I mean, like, I don't really know. Like, I guess like there's just like a side of Lauren that we didn't really see. I feel like I don't really care about Lauren. I don't know.
That's how I feel. I just don't care about her as a character. Like, and I really didn't care when her and Ben go on this date. They end up back at her apartment. They start like full on making out. She gets a phone call seemingly from her like ex. And it seems like like maybe it didn't end well, or like it's a little toxic. Like, again, very much giving Molly vibes. And yeah, and then he ends up, I don't know, visiting her, like he's there, and Lauren seems very uncomfortable with it. I do want to give some credit to Ben, who's like, do you want me to come in? Like, do you need help? Like, I'm here. But it just seems like an overall bad situation. And Ben and his infinite fucking wisdom is like, as soon as he sees Felicity is on a date with another person, even though he literally just went on a date with another person and he's the one
I
who said, let's move on.
I know. That made him, that was like, oh, she's trying to see somebody else. I'm interested. Also, it's like, he was like, you look good at that date. I don't know. This is why you're not supposed to hang out with your ex. It's just too tempting, honestly. This is why, like, blocking them from social media, deleting their number, blocking their number as well. Like, this is why you have to do these things, because otherwise you do get dragged into the same cycle over and over and over again. It's just way too tempting. This is why you have to literally move like thousands of miles into the middle of nowhere to get away from your ex. This is why you have to do it, or else you're going to be calling them up all the time, or like going to them as like a crutch when you're having a bad time. Like, this is why you have to cut it off completely. It sucks, but it's just the way it is. They're just way too close for comfort, honestly.
Yeah. It's not great. He calls and he leaves a message, and he's like, "Oh, I'm up late, blah 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 blah." And Elena is like, "Don't call him. Don't do it. Don't call him."
Yeah. Well, because she's using it as like you now have the power to Felicity. So like it's not even necessarily like don't ever call him. It's this like, don't call him now.
Yeah. Hey, it's me. I don't know why I'm calling. Just to say hi, I guess. You don't have to call me back. If you want to, you can. I don't know if you're out late. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, and of course, she ends up calling him back, but she gets his voicemail because guess what he is doing? Fucking Lauren.
It's a mess. It's not great. I'm not gonna
And it's
lie.
not even entertaining mess. It's just like, what are you doing? Stop it. Stop.
Just stop it.
Stop what you're doing. And so I want to finish the Javier storyline, because the other Javier storyline is that he's taking acting classes, and he's worried because this woman in his class keeps wanting to like get lunch with him and hang out, and she brings in a lint roller, which is a very strange gift to give. And he's like, listen, you're not my type. I'm gay. And she's like, yeah, bro, I know. I just want to be friends.
Yeah, bro, I know. Yeah, I know. I feel like he should have just like known that that's what she wants, but he has like a very big ego sometimes, and he was definitely like, you're obsessed with me, you are dying to be with me, you adore me, you love me, you want to be with me. And it's like she just needs a friend because she's going through a divorce also.
She lost her husband, and he died.
He died. Sorry,
he died. So she's lonely. She's just looking for a friend. But the entire episode, Javier's like, oh, this lady, she has such a crunch on me. Oh, she has such a crunch on me. And it's like, Javier, she doesn't have a crunch on you. She just wants to hang out.
She just wants a gay best friend and is desperate for you.
Yeah, she's like, I'm in New York City. I must find my Stanford. Javier will be my Stanford. A bald gay man? Sign me up.
Check. I did it right. Yeah.
So it's just ridiculous. But I do like ultimately, like, he gets, he understands, and he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, we can be friends.
He should get more friends his own age anyway. So.
Oh my God. Probably there's plenty of fish in the sea.
Yeah.
For Javier.
Do you want to talk about Sean and Megan next, or you want to talk about
Noel? Sean and Megan. I don't even know what's going on. I don't know. They're doing their invention stuff. That's pretty boring. Talking about like something that's pretty boring. Their storyline's pretty boring, but also,
what do you think of Sean's idea of comfort cologne? It smells like your favorite scent.
Barf time. I just
don't understand this.
When he says brisket, I was like, I would literally puke on you. No, thank you.
I just don't know, like. Oh, I just thought of something.
Who is this for?
Men, I guess, but like I don't quite understand it. I think regular cologne is just fine.
Yeah.
I remember when I was maybe a teenager, I don't know where I heard this. It had to have been a movie or a show, that like if you didn't have perfume, if you took a dab of vanilla extract and dabbed that, and I did it once. I remember I did it once with vanilla extract.
Did it work? Did you pull somebody?
I may have already been dating somebody by this point, but I don't remember. But no, it didn't really work as intended, because guess what? It's not perfume. It's vanilla extract.
It just smelled like a cookie.
Yeah. So they're like working on that. Megan is very frustrated though, because Noel is staying up at all hours watching Nick at Night.
He can't sleep. I mean, like, I also love to watch Nick at Night, honestly, into the night. Yeah. We got the I Love Lucy. We
Happy
got
Days.
Bewitched. We got Happy Days, right? I Dream of Jeannie.
Three's Company.
2 Facts of Life, Growing Pains.
A lot of good options. Step by step. So Megan is very upset by this, and she's like a little bit ranting about it. And Noel comes out and he's like, I'll be out in a week. Don't worry about it. And Sean is upset because Megan doesn't know that Sean got a ton of money from Noel. So he feels very guilty trying to like kick him out. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like, would this keep you up if Noel is in the common area, unless he has the volume on blast? Like, this would not keep me up at all.
I don't think so, but the issue is that they have a loft, so it's like one big open room, and then like the noise probably like bounces. That's the issue.
Noel needs to get a TV in his room.
He doesn't have a room.
Where's he sleeping? Yes, he does.
He has a room.
Ben has a room. Sean sleeps up in the loft, and Noel has the other room that Julie used to be in.
Oh, right.
2 bedrooms and a loft, I think.
Wow.
So Noel is really going through it this episode. We last left Noel last episode trying to get a therapist through Dr. Pavone. We see him start therapy this episode. And this was really interesting, Sarah, because his therapist is asking a lot about his family's history with depression. And I think this is one of those moments where you can feel the age of the show. Because I'm pretty sure the therapist calls it a mood disorder, which I
Mm,
just don't think you would hear depression or anxiety classified in that way anymore. Like, I
yeah,
don't think they call it a disorder just because disorder is like has such a negative connotation to it.
I don't know. Maybe it's still I'm not quite sure. Like I'm not quite what is the medical terms of it anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know if they would. I just from my experience with doctors and therapists, like I don't know that they would phrase it in that way, even if that is how it's classified. Um, because the guy is saying basically like you have a family history and the way you've been feeling the past few months, it sounds like a mood disorder, like
Mhm.
depression. And he says, well, I'd recommend therapy and medication. And Noel is very resistant. And again, this feels very of the times as well of like,
Yeah.
I mean, even now, like sometimes it's difficult to be like, no, I need help. And there's such a stigma against needing medication for these types of things.
Mhm.
And he says, like, it's all outside stuff, it's not inside. But then they start talking about, like, oh, like how your dad would act when you were younger, and maybe what your brother has gone through, not being able to get out of bed. And this was very interesting to me when he talks about medications, Sarah, where Noel asks, how long would I have to stay on it? And he says, and the therapist says, I don't know, which I do think is a
Yeah.
fair answer because
Yep.
you don't know. Ben says forever, or excuse me, Noel says forever, and he says maybe. Um, that's very interesting. Like, I'm trying to think of when my experiences with anxiety meds, and I'm trying to think about how my doctor phrased it. I don't know that I ever asked it.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to be on this forever? And I appreciate the doctor at least saying, I don't know, because Sarah, it's so different for everyone.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, absolutely.
like there are times when if you're going through a particularly rough patch in life, maybe you would be on it temporarily. Maybe COVID as like a prime example. I'm sure a lot of people felt they needed some help, depression, anxiety wise, whatever. And then they got off of it and now they're fine. Other people are going to be on these sorts of medications for life because our bodies don't shoot out the right things at the right
Mhm.
times to
Mhm.
give us the dopamine that we need to get by. So at
Right.
least it was an honest answer from the
Yeah,
doctor.
I really like Noel's therapist, actually. Like, I think that his approach to therapy would jive more with me than Dr. Pavone, just because of how Dr. Pavone can be at times.
And her chain smoking would really bother me.
That as well. So I really liked this doctor, and I liked some of the things that the doctor brought up. Like, I mean, I like how like Noel, a couple of things were particularly interesting to me because like I think that Noel was describing that he was like, I really think my depression is situational because like I have all this stuff going on. Like, wouldn't you be upset? Like, wouldn't you be sad? And the doctor was like, yeah, like of course I would. And you might be right. Like, it could be situational. But because of like your family history, I have a hunch that it's probably something more. So I liked that. Like, I liked him acknowledging, like, yeah, like I would be sad. Like, I would have an issue with it. Like, because these are like big things that are happening in your life. And like that's a conversation that like I've had with my therapist in the past. Like, you know, this stuff like would make anybody, like losing a parent would make anybody sad. Like having like a broken, disconnected home would make anybody sad. Like, it's all very true. But
Mhm.
it's just like how like me and myself handle it. So I found like that conversation interesting. And I also found it interesting how I don't know, like Noel was like, I'm supposed to be the one that helps everybody. Like, I was an RA, like I'm an advisor, like,
Yeah.
and I think he was like, okay, but people go to you. And I also like he was like, I bet you would be a really great one. Like, I bet you would be a really great advisor, friend, whatever.
Mhm.
But who do you go to? And I think like that's also a really good question for people that are usually the ones that are like your friend's therapist or like the person that like helps everybody. It's just like you are doing so much, but like, who takes care of you? Who's your support system?
Yeah.
And it was like, he was talking about like his brother, and he was like, yeah, my brother helps me. But it's like, how often does Noel go to his brother? Like, not very often.
Yeah.
And like, I also liked how he was like, you know what? Like, depression, like, you know, he was like, said something along the lines of like, you have more empathy than I just liked the way that
Yeah.
the therapist spoke to Noel, because I think that he did a good job of like listening to Noel, like um not like dismissing Noel's thoughts or feelings about the situation, and then
Yeah.
like also being like, you're great. Like, and I also think that like somebody like Noel, like somebody like me, like kind of needs those words of affirmations to be like, yeah, like I'm not like
Mhm.
very shitty. Like I'm not super shitty. Like I'm not a terrible person. Like I do this and that and the other thing. But then like turning it back around and being like, okay, but like who takes care of you? So like I think that
Yeah.
I really liked this doctor's approach, and I just felt like I would feel safe with this person. And it wasn't like, I mean, Dr. Pavone's obviously more entertaining, like probably better television, but I didn't mind these therapy sessions between Noel and his doctor.
I totally agree with you. There's so the one line I really appreciated, like you were saying, when he's asking, who do you go to? You go to your brother, you know, but like it doesn't mean that I like having depression doesn't mean you're a weak person. If
Mhm.
anything, it means you're a more empathetic
Yes,
person.
that was the line.
And
Yeah.
like I think it's a really good way to put it, because as someone who's gone through not obviously not the same things as Noel, but like had my moments with depression, anxiety, still do. Like it oftentimes you feel like you are just lacking something other people have. And
Mhm.
you feel like a weak person at times. Like you feel like, why can't I just be XYZ? I don't feel strong. I feel weak. I feel like it takes almost nothing to knock me out of whack, to knock me off balance. And that's just not true. Everyone's a little bit different in how they handle things differently. And I do think, despite the fact that like me kind of discovering that I probably have had anxiety my entire life and I just didn't know what it was, I do think it's made me more empathetic in the long run. Like
Mm,
I feel like I was a little bit more um, my shit didn't stink at times
mhm.
before I figured everything out back in like around COVID times. And so I agree with you. I really like this conversation between the therapist and Noel, because I feel like the therapist was both saying the right things, and I felt like hearing from Noel's perspective was also really interesting. There were some things he was saying that I felt like I latched onto immediately. He talks about his brother, where his brother would go through phases where he
Oh,
didn't seem to
yes.
hear anyone around him. He
Yeah.
says, it was like he was looking up at you from the bottom of a swimming pool. He was older, so at the time I thought I was boring him, but now I realize he could have drowned while we were all talking at him. And like
Mm,
that is so like in terms of depression, I would definitely agree with like that feeling like depression at times where you feel like you are drowning and you just can't seem to find the air. Like
mhm,
when I was really going through it, I would often tell like my therapist and my doctor, like, I feel like I'm in the tunnel and I don't know where the light is or when I'm
mhm.
going to get back into it. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like I'm in a never-ending tunnel right now because
Yeah.
I don't see the light at the end. If when you know there's a light at the end, there's a different philosophy because you can push through. But when
Mhm.
you're just in the darkness, you just feel like, is this ever going to be over? Am I ever going to get over this hurdle? And like, that's kind of what that felt like. And the other thing that to me felt more like anxiety, but you really could like, and I'm not trying to classify it either way, but like, this is how I would equate it. When Noel said, I feel like I'm falling and the things I used to grab onto to hold me in place, work, friends, home, they're snapping like twigs.
Mm,
That is so relatable to me that
mhm.
like I've said this before, sometimes the way my anxiety feels, it's almost like I am trying to grasp it with my hands and it is just water and it just drip. I can't grasp it. It's like you're looking for anything to hold on to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was so relatable, Sarah, because I get on Noel's case a lot, right? And deservedly so, I think.
But he's like a little baby with depression and anxiety.
Yeah, I feel bad for him now because Sarah,
Yeah.
like when you think about the things that stabilize you, the things that keep you in place, the things that like ground you, right? For me, I would say it's, my house, like being in my home is very comforting for me. My husband, obviously, my dogs, like there are certain things I can point to that are like, these are the things I will latch onto when I am feeling like the world is a little bit too chaotic for me. And we look at Noel's life and like his work life is a bit of a mess right now.
Yeah.
He's blown up a lot of his friendships.
Yes.
And he's like living in an apartment where Megan wants him out. Like,
yeah. And he literally is living with Ben as well.
Exactly.
And,
so like his whole life is a little turbulent at the moment. And the thing I think, Sarah, we could both agree on that like normally he'd latch onto is Felicity. And like now he's kind of, he's gotten himself in a very precarious situation with her.
Yeah. And he knows that he probably should stay away from her because like this is kind of like part of what blew up his life as well. Like, and also he feels as though, like there's not going to be, he feels like, like she's not very interested in him at times, like how he perceives, like there's not really like an, going to be a positive thing with her. You know what I mean? Like he's like, she is still in like Ben's universe. So it's not like they're working towards a relationship or anything.
Right. Right. And I think this is the same situation we found ourselves in previously where it's like Noel can't be friends with her because he's in love with her. So it's hard for him to not cross that boundary. And I think when he sees her in the hallway, right, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you." And she asks like, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah." And she like asks him for a cup of coffee. How hard must it have been for him to say no when we know he was literally just saying to his therapist that like he's looking for something to grab a hold of, and Felicity is offering him that, right? She is putting out her hand and he has to say no, like because they miss each other, they miss each other's friendships, they miss being around each other. But kudos to Noel for being like, this is a bad idea, like, and I shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I think so too.
In a shitty episode, or I would say a boring episode, Noel's plotline was the most interesting. But I think, truly, Sarah, I think if I didn't relate to it so much, I probably would not have found it anywhere near as interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if like somebody that hasn't dealt with like either deciding if they want to go on to like some sort of antidepressant, anti-anxiety, or has gone to therapy, or like doesn't see themselves as like a anxious or depressive person, if they would find it really boring, unrelatable, uninteresting. But as like two people that absolutely like can relate to it, we found it, I found it pretty interesting.
Yeah, I just like the way Noel and the therapist were framing a lot of this stuff because it makes me wonder if at the time when the show was on, right, in the 90s, when these sorts of topics weren't so easily accessible, they weren't discussed as much on TV, if this was something that helped anyone, if they watched this episode and were like, wow, I feel that way too. Like maybe I should go talk to somebody about that. It does make me wonder because I think that's half the battle. Half the battle is being like finding out that some of the feelings that you were feeling are associated with depression or anxiety, or like that you're not just tired, that there's a thing, there's a reason, and you can point to that reason and be like, this is why. It's so interesting. And I totally understand where Noel's coming from, of the fear of being on a medication for the rest of your life to treat something. And the mental hoops I've jumped through to like be okay with it, be okay with the idea of I'm probably going to be on anti-anxiety meds for the rest of my life. And that has to be fine because you know what? I also take medication for allergies. Yeah. And you know what I'm not trying to do? Wean myself off of that. Like,
I mean, like, I think it's just like such a pride thing because like, I don't know, like I haven't really thought that much about like wanting to get off medication or, or like when that would be. And I don't really feel daunted about like being on it for the rest of my life. Like, it's just, I take it with my vitamins, and like that's like what I do. I mean, I have thought about like, okay, like therapy. Like I've been going to therapy consistently for well, I mean, I've been going to therapy pretty much like the person I've been seeing now, it's been about 4 years, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then before that, I was seeing somebody for 5, and there was like a year in difference. And I saw somebody during school. So like I would say like off and on, I've been in therapy for I don't know, like 10 to 15 years, something like that. And like
Mm-hmm.
I was going every week, and I recently just went from every other week. And I think that like in times in the future, I might go down to once, but like if my life is feeling particularly crazy or wild, then I would go more. Like it's just like I don't feel that sort of like shame that I feel like other people put on themselves about medication nor therapy. It's more so like, what do I need? What do I feel like I need? And like, if I feel like I go to therapy and I'm like just talking to like a friend and I'm like, yeah, I don't really have much to talk about this week, but like, you know what I mean? Then that's like me
Mm-hmm.
telling myself that like I could probably go less. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's just some people need medications to help regulate themselves, and the hardest part is that it is not a physical thing that you can see, right? Like if I don't take my allergy meds, my eyes are watery, my nose is stuffy, like it's very obvious that I haven't taken it. I think mental health stuff can be so much more subtle, and that's what makes it so much more daunting to try to wrap your head around, not to mention the stigma that there still is on, mental health medications. I think it just gets very tricky, and I so related to like Noel saying, I don't feel like me anymore. Like who is this new person? Because I reckoned with that a lot, especially in like 2020. I felt like I was losing my sense of self, and like I had become this unrecognizable person. And it took a lot of therapy to be like, no, people grow and change and adapt, but it's
Mhm.
impossible for you have completely become a new person within like 6 months time, all because of like
Yeah.
one thing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's just not how life works. And it's just, no, I'm different now, and it's not worse. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I just had a lot of sympathy for Noel this episode, because it really is hard to go through something like this, especially at the time period he's going through it, because
Mhm.
it's not, you can't just be as open as we are being right now on a public platform of saying we're on these medications, we're not shameful about it, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I think it's tougher for him to say that.
I also think that it's could be a man's thing.
Yeah,
Like I
that
think
too.
that I think that and of course this is stereotypical. There's plenty of people that don't feel that way, but I think that it is um more often than not that men have like this like pride thing when it comes to mental health and
Yeah.
struggling with like getting help, talking to somebody, or being on medication because
Mhm.
like of just how like society is like men shouldn't have feelings, they need to be manly men, like they need to you know, men don't cry, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I feel for Noel, and I'm excited to kind of see like what also gets unearthed. Like it might be interesting to see what comes from it.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, like it makes Noel a lot more sympathetic as well.
Certainly. Yeah, to the point where I kind of want to give him the point this episode. I feel like he took like a huge
Oh.
step forward in terms of like recognizing he may need some help, seeking out a therapist, seemingly a
Mhm.
decent therapist, which is great. And
Yeah,
like,
it's like actually, Tony is like, "You wanna go see somebody that's actually good? Like, that's not" like, I know
doesn't
so
chain smoke
many
in your
good ones.
face.
Yeah, I know so many good therapists that are not myself, so let me give
Yeah.
you yeah, I mean, I am always up for giving Noel the point. You don't
I
have to
just don't
convince
even know
him
who there's an
twice.
argument for besides him. You know what I mean? Like, who
Noel's
else even
therapist.
deserves it?
Noel's therapist, but that's I like Noel's therapist. No, give it to Noel. Noel deserves
Yeah.
it. Good for Noel. Star Noel, Team Noel,
Yeah.
always and forever. Go Noel.
Okay, let's get into some feedback that we got. Let's hear what Temmie has to say.
Hi, ladies. So the actor who plays Owen was in the Justin Timberlake video for What Goes Around Comes Around.
Oh.
Scarlett Johansson was also in the music video. What do you think of the careers of Justin and Scarlett? Do you miss TRL? Thanks.
Oh yeah,
Bye.
TRL. Yeah.
Okay. Justin Timberlake and Scarlett Johansson. Sarah, thoughts, feelings?
I feel like well, of course, I was a Backstreet Boys fan, girl.
He was an
Backstreet Boys.
NSYNC guy.
I know. Let me
Oh.
finish my sentence. So he was my ops, of course. But then
okay, gotcha.
also he was like super cute back in the day.
With
So
his little ramen hair.
I did have a poster of him in my bedroom.
Did you?
Yeah, of course.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had like all the cute boys. I would get like J14 and 17 teen or whatever, and I would like they would have like posters in there, and I would posters, and I would put up. I had like so many hotties.
This is interesting. Okay, I have a question because we've often talked about how you are like a main character girly. Like you love a main character. Now, were you the same way in like your boy band fandom? Did you always like the lead who was JT, obviously for NSYNC, and I would assume like Nick Carter would probably be the equivalent for like a Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, I do remember liking AJ at one point.
Okay.
I just thought that he was cool.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I think like typically, I mean, like for Spice Girls, I was definitely like a baby Spice. I guess I just went for the blondes. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, that tracks actually. I was not a main character girly. I was not a main singer girly. I liked JC Chazé.
Yeah, JC Chazé. Yeah.
And Brian. I love Brian.
Yeah, like you were sad for him because he had the heart condition.
And he had like the round face. Something about his face, I was like, oh, he's more down to earth than the other ones. He just looks like a normal guy, you know?
So and then like I mean, like I followed him, but then like I kind of heard that he was like kind of an asshat.
Oh, he's a total, and isn't he like is he a Scientologist or some weird shit?
No.
Isn't he in some weird religion with Jessica Biel or something?
I didn't think so, but you'll tell me. But then he was hanging out the other day with Travis Kelce, and they were like dancing on the golf course, and I was like, stop dancing with Travis Kelce on the golf course. Get out of there. So,
he was apparently raised as devout Southern Baptist, but he now considers himself spiritual, not religious.
I think you're thinking about somebody else.
I think I am, but there was something weird between him and Jessica Biel. There was like a weird thing, but ScarJo, I don't have a ton of feelings on beyond to say she's an incredible actor. Like I don't know that I have many more feelings than that.
Great boobs. As you know, we've talked about like we're not like super boob enthusiasts, but like, she does have great boobs.
I also think she's a person who can kind of have any hair color and looks good. Which is like a rare thing, I think.
Yeah, she's married to that guy that does the the newscast on SNL.
Oh, Colin Jost, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. And they seem happy.
Yeah, I mean, he's very funny. I've seen him on I get TikToks of him.
I don't think like I mean like I think like if you think about what she's most famous for these days is probably the Marvel movies.
Certainly. I think so.
I don't care about them nor for them. I mean, she was in The Other Boleyn Girl. I think that like I'm just like whatever about Scarlett. Like I think I'm neutral. Like I don't like love Scarlett Johansson, but I don't dislike Scarlett Johansson by any means.
Were you a big TRL fan? That was the other Temmie's other question.
Yeah, I watched it after school, of course. I just liked music videos, and I liked seeing celebrities and music people on my TV screen. I was always very into celebrity gossip and anything interviews, and I think I still am. I think that is kind of my genre of interest. Like what kind of shenanigans do people get into, like what their like the goss. I think like it excites me, and I don't think that there's like a lot of people in my circle that find it as interesting as me, which makes me a little
Mhm.
sad. Like I can't tell Adam like the latest celebrity gossip because he doesn't really care. Like nobody really cares, but I care.
Yeah. Count me in the group that doesn't care.
Yeah, I'll just tell it to Belle.
Speaking of music, can I tell you what artist I've been obsessively listening to lately?
Yes.
Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh.
I now like Espresso, obviously, Taste, Feather.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, which I feel like doesn't get enough love, is Thumbs. I love Thumbs.
Wow. How did you get into her?
I think it was like one day I just had one of her songs stuck in my head, and I went on and did like the play all of her songs and like shuffle her songs.
Yeah. Wow.
Like these are great songs.
Wow. Okay.
I'm getting with the times. This is like 10 years old by this point, but I'm getting with the
I mean, not
times.
quite, but yeah.
Well,
I
a couple
mean,
years old.
that was me like 6 months ago.
I just love her. She's great.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear what DBK has to say about this episode. I'm sure he has only flattering things to say about Ben.
What up, though, ladies? On my box set, episode is called Lonely Hearts Not Moving On. I tried to like figure out why. I couldn't. On this episode, Owen is played by Sean Hattie. He's in Animal Kingdom, and I guess he's on the new hotness, The Pit.
The Pit.
And then Rita is from A League of Their Own. She's the lady that like cries and can't hit a cutoff. Not a lot going on this episode for me. Ben just being Ben.
Pause it.
Sorry, who's Rita?
She's the one that cries. There's no crying in baseball. And
No. I'm saying on this show.
Oh, the one that Javier was hanging out with.
The one who has a crunch on him.
Yes. Oh, that's so funny. Okay. Very
I did not recognize her, but I've only seen that movie once, so that would track.
And then did Elena screw this up for Felicity by like not letting her call immediately? Maybe she would have intercepted the Lauren call, and now
no, Elena did the right thing.
Get down with Lauren, but only for one night. You think that's true? No. Anyways, till next week, ladies. Peace.
No.
I think Elena did the right thing. She was being a good friend, I think. Being like, don't call your ex-boyfriend right this second. Seems like a bad idea.
But she will.
Oh, I mean, she already did, yeah. But they were too busy banging, so. We also got an email from Jamie. So Felicity has a new love interest, Owen. I will start this with the positive. I actually like Owen. He seems like a really cool guy. He seems really into Felicity. I thought he and Felicity had a really easy and natural chemistry, and he's definitely an A-list guy in terms of personality. In terms of looks, he's cute, but he's no Ben or Noel. Why does this show refuse to give Felicity a viable love interest that isn't Ben or Noel? I will say Art Guy Eli was the closest thing to being on par with Ben or Noel, although Owen is definitely a step up from David or Greg. I agree with that.
Right. Are you just saying that Owen's kind of an Ugo?
That sounds like what Jamie is saying. How would you rank Felicity's non-Ben or Noel love interest between Art Guy Eli, David, who we remember is the guy who was the professor's grandson?
David's on the bottom because David was a douche, right?
No, Greg was a douche.
Greg. Okay.
So
I got it. Okay. So I think that David is the top. David was a good guy. Good guy.
Okay.
And then I like Owen. Then probably Art Guy Eli. And then Greg.
I think I would do Eli, we just don't know enough about is the problem, right? Like,
we didn't.
He's hot. He's into art. We don't know much more. So I'm going to put Owen at the top because I feel like him and Felicity had the best chemistry and shared interests. Then I will put David, then Eli, then Greg. I think Greg is always at the bottom because Greg sucks.
Greg
ass.
was literally the worst person that she ever went at. He was so awful.
Yeah. Jamie mentions, similarly to what DBK was saying, Sean Hattie, who plays Owen, and Scott Speedman were in the show Animal Kingdom together, where they played brothers. I didn't know they played brothers in the show.
What is Animal Kingdom?
I have no idea. Never heard of it.
It's you go to Disney, and
Mhm.
that's the only Disney park that I haven't been to.
I like it because it has all the animals there. You
I
could
don't
do
wanna
the safari
I
drive
don't
thing.
wanna
It's great.
see animals. I don't
This is where you and I differ. I don't want to see animals.
I don't wanna see
Wow, it
animals.
ran for 6 seasons, this show.
I
It's a crime drama.
The only animals that I would go see are flamingos. I
Flamingos.
have
Yeah.
high interest in flamingos, and then all the other animals I really just don't care about.
Wow.
So it's sad but true.
I'm the opposite. Now on to Ben and Lauren. Isn't she friends with Ben's father? I believe he was her sponsor. So isn't it a little fucked up for her to be dating his son?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably
certainly.
against the
rules.
rules. Yeah.
At the very least, I hope she asked her permission before she went on the date with Ben.
Probably
Ben's
not.
dad is a weird character who did kiss his own son's girlfriend, so maybe he wouldn't care, but it is a strange situation. Also, why the hell is Lauren calling Ben when she's on the verge of relapse? Shouldn't she call her new sponsor or go to an AA meeting? It seems incredibly irresponsible to put that burden on a college-age kid. Also, while the actress who plays Lauren is for sure a very attractive woman, I think she looks way older than what you guessed last episode. To me, she looks mid-30s. I'm all for both Felicity and Ben moving on, dating other people. I just wish we had better options for them. Yeah.
Well, I mean, also they're so young that they could probably just be single and be fine.
Yeah. One last thing. Why is Ben still playing games? First, he tells her she looks great before he leaves on her date with Owen, and then he calls her, but ends up hooking up with Lauren. Yeah, not great. Very much back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
One last question. So when Felicity returns from her date, Elena lets her know Ben left a message, but Felicity to make him squirm a bit before she calls. But tells Felicity to make him squirm a bit before she calls, which left room for Lauren to swoop right in. What do you think would have happened with Ben and Felicity if she had called right back as soon as she got his message?
Oh boy. I mean, but would he turn? I don't know.
I don't think anything good would happen. I feel like it just ends up getting bad again because then they do this tag game of back and forth, and then I think he does the same thing where he's just like, I changed my mind again, now I don't want to go out with you. I don't think anything good happens from it. I think it's better that she waited and then he was busy fucking Lauren.
They just need to get away from each other.
Really do. And I mean, we're 9 episodes in. What are we doing here? I don't know. I'm not loving this season so much because it feels aimless and it feels like we're doing the same story over and over and over again.
It is aimless is a great word for it. I agree. Yeah.
Now I am excited about next week's episode title.
What is it?
Season 4, episode 10, Fire. Will there be another fire on this show? These people be setting fire to everything.
Why? Why? I guess it's just like Thanksgiving. It's just a signature for
they're like,
this
we
show.
need fire on every season. The Christmas tree, the light. Was there only 2 fires or were there 3?
No, there was 3. There maybe
had to be another one.
I think it's just a Felicity signature at this point.
I love it. Maybe this time they'll have the fire with the sad piano music.
Oh wow, magical.
Both. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that will be next week. If you want to send in feedback, shit90spod.com. And Sarah, after next week for episode 11, we'll be at the halfway mark for the final season.
So not Fire, but the other
Fire, but the next one, and that's when we'll update our character rankings with these,
I know everyone's just gonna be on the bottom.
Everyone sucks. Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, I don't really know. There's not even. I don't know who's gonna be on the top of the rankings.
We'll see. Everyone's doing a piss poor job, in my opinion, but that's for a few weeks from now. One other thing, Sarah, I meant to ask you. Have you read the new Hunger Games book?
No.
I just finished it and it was pretty good. I liked it. I was not a huge fan of the President Snow prequel that they did. I was like, but this one I really liked.
Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Very what a reader you are.
I think I've read, and this is not a lot for most people, but I think I've read 6 or 7 books this year so far.
That's great. I'm proud of
Pretty
you.
good for me. Yeah, and my problem is once I'm actually reading the book, I finish that shit instantly. Like I read the Hunger Games book in like less than 2 days.
Wow.
But I have to like start it. That's the hurdle for me, is starting it. You know what I mean? Once I get past those like first 20 or so pages, I'm in.
Yeah.
But I have 2 books right now and they're both monstrous, and just looking at them I'm like, "Oh my god, they're so huge. I don't know how I'm going to do it."
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, I have to decide because I have 2 books out from the library, so I probably should prioritize those because they're from the library. And then I have 1 book that I own. But the 1 book that I own is that super hot series right now.
The Onyx Storm one?
Yeah, but the first one. I haven't read any of them.
Iron Flame?
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know, but it's something like that.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh man.
Is that the first one or the second one?
I don't know. One of them.
I think you're right.
No, it's the second. That one's the second one.
Is the first one Fire something?
Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing, thank you. So I have that one too, which I know people are like very hyped about. If anybody has any feedback on whether, what I should read. I'm going to give the other books just in case people want to weigh in. I have the Stephen King book 11/22/63, which is like a thriller, a time travel thriller that apparently is very good.
Okay.
And then my other book is another thriller, and it's like this girl, it's actually about like the main character is a Native American woman, and she's using her knowledge of like her culture and like medical stuff to be able to assist in like solving a murder, and it's called Firekeeper's Daughter.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it's a young adult fiction is that one. So everyone should weigh in. What do you think, Sarah? Which of those 3 do you think I should read first?
The one that you said.
I said 3. What do you mean the one that I said?
Okay, but what came when I just said that? What came?
The
to
one I
mind
just
first?
taught. No, you're just trying. Now you're just trying to manipulate me with your mind games.
I think that you should read the Stephen King one.
Okay, that's the longest one. It's like
okay, never
900
mind.
pages.
And the shortest.
It's fine. Okay. Anything else you want to tell people about, Sarah?
No, I have nothing to say to anybody.
Okay, great. You know where to find us. Listen next week. We'll be back with season 4, episode 10. Until then, everyone, have a good one. Bye.
Just ask. Shit 90 shows taught me.
Shit 90 Shows Taught Me was not filmed before a live studio audience.